And for the sake of this video, we're going to not have a real phone call or even the phone plugged in, but I'm going to take you through how we perform these verifications live, just to give you a sense of the tone and the tempo of the conversation. But I will take some breaks, give you some pro tips, or explain why I'm asking a certain question or how we're actually going through some of these verification questions. So in this case, we're going to be calling Clifford Property Management, and we're calling to verify residency for Regan Smith. So I would call out to Clifford Property Management. And the first thing I want to do is I'm calling a property management company. I want to make sure they're answering the phone as a business. So they should be answering Clifford Property Management. If it's an individual landlord, you're probably going to get a hello. Somebody's going to answer like that. And we'll go through some tips on how to make sure you've got the right person on the phone. Hi, I'm calling to verify residency for Regan Smith. Can I do that with you over the phone? Now, chances are I'm going to be speaking with a leasing agent or maybe the property manager. 9 out of 10 times, they're going to be the ones who are able to do the verification over the phone for you. Yep, it looks like Regan had filled out an application, and they listed you as a previous landlord. We just wanted to make a phone call and make sure that they were good tenants for me. Can I ask you a few questions? So as I'm going through these questions, I may already have some of the answers. And so we call these loaded questions. We want to make sure that we're still asking them and that the answers that they're providing match up to the answers that were provided to me on the rental application. So the very first thing I'm going to make sure is, was this person a renter? Were they on the lease? So as the very first question is going to be, was Regan a responsible party on the lease?
Yeah, he was.
Okay, and can you tell me when Regan moved in? Now, in this case, I have notes on when Regan actually moved in, but I want to make sure they match up with what Clifford Property Management is going to tell me. In this case, it was 2011. Both answers match. Okay, and when was the move-out date? Again, I have this information. I want to make sure that what they're providing to me matches as well. While Regan was there, did he pay his rent on time?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. And were there any neighbor complaints, noise complaints on file, anything like that?
Not that I remember.
No? Okay. And was the tenant evicted?
No.
No? All right. And can you verify the rental address that they were staying at?
123 Katy Lane.
And the reason I'm asking specifically about the rental address is a lot of times when you have an imposter on the phone, somebody who's a friend or a relative who's prepared for these, you'd be shocked how many people don't know their friends or relatives' actual physical address. But in every case, when you're speaking to a property management company, they're going to know the exact address. And certainly when you're speaking to a landlord, this is a property the landlord owns, they're going to know the address as well. All right, 2445 Club Manor Lane. All right, and that's in Dallas, Texas. And what's the zip code there?
12 buckle my shoe.
All right, perfect. And overall, while you were renting to Regan, would you say that they were a good tenant, you had no issues, and you would rent to them again?
Yeah, sure. I told him
Perfect, okay. And what was the monthly rent amount that they were paying?
yeah, about $1,200.
And did that include utilities? And were there any pets at the property while they were staying there?
Oh, no, we have a no pet policy.
Okay, thank you. All right, I appreciate the information. Thank you very much. So a couple of things on the phone call that I'm making sure there's going to be some information that they may not have. Sometimes on the pets, if they're already gone, they may not have notes that they've left on that. If you're speaking with a property management company, there's a good chance that they've kept pretty detailed notes. And if not detailed notes, certainly a ledger that will give you all the information that you're looking for on their payment history. When you're talking to an individual landlord, you may not be so lucky. They may be going off of memory. You may catch them driving in their car or not sitting in front of their home office or where they might have the information. So you can make a choice of either to call them back when they do have the information, or if you've established that chances are they don't have this information and they're going off of memory, you got to take that into consideration. Another important aspect to point out is, especially for individual landlords, it seems to be the less information they know, the better, right? So anyone who's managed properties will tell you, you remember the worst ones. You remember the people by name that gave you the hardest time. So if you got a situation where they don't really remember a lot about them, they don't remember the move-in, move-out dates, They know what that property's getting now in rent, but may not remember exactly at the time that they were renting, maybe what they were paying in rent. These aren't necessarily warning signs. They could potentially be a good sign that this was not a tenant that stuck out as a pain or a problematic tenant for the landlord, and it was somebody that just wasn't very memorable to them. And honestly, as a landlord, that's really what you want. You want things to go so smooth that it's just not a memorable situation that you can draw from a recent memory and say, oh yeah, they were great tenants. Or, again, if they were problematic, you would likely know that right away.